Hi everybody, welcome back to Hart Talks. This is the last video for 2020, and after the year it has been, I just can't say enough words of how happy I am that it's all over. It's been a right year, and I know for a lot of people it's been a year of sadness and loss, and just not being able to be with your friends or be with your family or hug people or kiss people, or just the normal everyday things. So this video is going to be a little bit of a recap over the last year, what has happened on Hart Talks, and definitely the highs, because there's been a lot of highs this year and it's just going to be nice to have a look back on them. So we started off in January, and I did a video called Hello 2020. God, if only I'd known then what kind of year this would be, and that we were going to be faced with a pandemic that nobody was aware of, or none of us were aware of, and nobody knew how to deal with or control. So that was Hello 2020. Then I had my first guest of 2020, and that was Nathaniel J Hall, who is a lovely guy. He's an actor, and he came and sat on my bed with me, and we talked about his career, his story, which is amazing. Nathaniel now has a book out about his play, and I will try and find the link and put it in the description box below. Then we had, in February, the first video was Who We Are, writing our play, and that was where I talked with the wonderful and talented Mr. Lance Anthony Steen Nielsen, and we talked about our play, which was called Who We Are. We now have found that we're going to have to change that name, but we are calling it that for the time being. And we talked about the play in February because we wanted to put the word out there, let people know that it was coming. And lo and behold, then COVID happened and our play stopped completely. It drew to a standstill. Lance got sick, he had COVID, and we just weren't able to continue. But lo and behold, just this week, Lance and I had a 6-hour Zoom meeting about the play and about the characters, and we started writing scripts, and it's all getting really exciting. So it's great to know that that is back in the mix and it's happening, and hopefully next year we will have, well, definitely we'll have more news about that. My next guest for 2020 was the wonderful and amazing Jonathan Blake, who shared his story about living with HIV and just the death sentence that it was when he was first diagnosed in 80, I can't remember, it was early 80s. So it was wonderful to speak to Jonathan and hear his story, and that video was split into 2 weeks. Then the isolation happened, so I started Isolation Conversations, and I had a great conversation with Carolyn, and then a great conversation with Ellen, and yeah, just to see how people were dealing and coping, and yeah, just be a bit silly. Then I talked about my CBD journey. This was in April. Yeah, I talked about my CBD journey and just what CBD oil had done for me, and the advantages, the disadvantages, and just how it was helping with my nausea. And yeah, I'm still plugging away at that, and yeah, I will update you when there is any updates. Then May. My first video in May was called Changes. Now, I was quite proud of this video. It didn't get that many hits, to be honest, but it was just something a bit different for me. It was a more cinematic type video. You can check it out up here if you would like to see it. And yeah, that was just me starting to talk about how life had changed since lockdown and isolation and COVID had, affected us all. Then in May, things changed, and after my video called Changes, I did a video called Saying Goodbye. My adopted mother passed away, and I made a video about her and her story, and I tried to tell it in a way that I hoped honoured her and honoured me as well. You know, it was a difficult one, but it was necessary. Then I talked about the day I met Diana. That was that was the end of May. I did that video, and that was, I still when I think about that today, you know, I think I met Princess Diana, and you know, it was, yeah, amazing experience. Then feeling angry. George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, just everything was just kicking off, and people were angry, and they had a right to be angry, and it was a crazy time because it was all that was happening while COVID was happening, while we were on lockdown, while everybody was supposed to be indoors, but people felt that they had to march and they had to make their voices heard. And it was difficult. It was difficult for people like me who wanted to do something and wasn't sure what I could do, and feeling angry was a way that I could talk about that in a way on my channel. The next one was the New York Times quiz, and then that was June, and then Let's Get Personal was the following one, which were both quizzes, which were both, again, trying to lift the doom and gloom of COVID times and lockdown and everything that was going on at the time. And you got to know a bit more about me. I got a bit more personal. Not that I can get that much more personal anyway, but you know, yeah, you learned a few new facts about me that you might not have known. Then, in July, did I not do that video called He Peed on Me, which will probably haunt me for the rest of my life, but it was a funny story, it was a long time ago, and I thought, why not share it with you guys? The next one was my next guest, and it was the one, the only Isabel Roberts. And Izzy, who is a friend of mine, and you know, it was great to be able to talk with her about her career, which, you know, has spanned many years, and how she's still doing her thing despite COVID, despite the lockdown, despite, you know, her way of interacting with people being completely different now. She's still doing it, and it was great to get to talk to Izzy about her story. Then in September I did a video called If You Go Down to the Woods Today. Now that was a video that I did with Gary and Calvin, and you always know that, you know, you're in for a laugh if Gary and Calvin are involved, and it was a really fun day out in the forest, in the woods. We were like the three bears, and I didn't get my porridge. So by the end of it, I was not very happy. But if you want a good laugh, you can watch that video too. Then in October, lo and behold, was the Not Another Death. My birth mother died, Sylvia. And it was really difficult. It was difficult to understand. It was difficult to process. It was difficult to accept. And I felt the best thing, the way that I could communicate that best, was by making a video. And that's what I did. I got back from the funeral that had been that day, and I made a video. And it's a tough one. And I know a lot of my friends found it really hard to watch. But again, it helped me heal slightly, and I hope that it was help to somebody else out there. West End Waiting was the first video in November, and West End Waiting was or is a group that was set up by Lee, and he set up this amazing group that got people from the West End and other theatres singing in key places in London. They were all social distancing, but it was just an amazing display and just hearing those voices singing those songs, you know, that I hear every day, you know, that are on my iPod, and you know, I listen to constantly, and just to hear those songs being sung by people from the West End and from Theatreland was just shining a light on the fact that theatre stopped completely. You know, the doors were shut in March and the majority of them have not opened again, and so many people were sent home and are still waiting to go back to work. And it's not just actors, it's wigs, it's people in the wigs department, it's people in costumes, it's people that do lighting, it's people that sell tickets, it's people that sell ice creams, you know, it's just everybody. Keep your eye open because something more is coming from West End Waiting, and watch this space, you will find more out about that soon. Another guest was George Hudson, and George again had an amazing story and invited me into his home for us to talk and chat and just look back over the life that he has lived and the amazing story that he has, and that he's still there doing it, fighting, and you know, talking about his story. And yeah, it was an amazing honour for me to get to listen to his story and hear, you know, because I hadn't met him before, so it was, you know, it was the first time, and it was just lovely. It was really a really enjoyable day. Then I ended up in hospital, and I made you a short video from the hospital. That wasn't fun, and hopefully it will be a long time before that happens again. Then it was the World AIDS Day video, and as always I tried to shine a light on December 1st, which is World AIDS Day, and what the red ribbon means. Then last but not least, well, second last, because this is the last one, the Angie Brown video. And it was brilliant to have Angie here, and she is so much fun. She's just a bundle of laughs, and again, to hear about her career, to hear about her reinventing herself, to hear about her new single, Higher. Check it out, it's amazing. Yeah, it was just great for me. I felt really chuffed to be able to get to talk to Angie and find out more about her life and her story. Now next year I hope to have many other stories to share with you. It is now December 31st. We are still here in London, not able to mix, so it's very different, and it's not the way I like to spend New Year, but there's nothing we can do. Let's just hope and pray that 2021 brings so much change and so much improvement in the way that we deal with this virus and the way we kick its ass and get back to some form of normality, where you can hug your friends and tell people, well, you can still tell people you love them, but it's just nice to follow that up with a hug and see people. You know, I've not been able to go to Glasgow and catch up with Heather and Carolyn and all those kind of people, and not been able to go to New York and see my girls Ellen and June and Flo and everybody. You know, there's so many people that I miss, but thank you for you sharing this year with me. I put a post out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram the other day saying that I was 9 subscribers away from 2,000, and please would people subscribe. And do you know what happened? 2 people unsubscribed. So instead of being 9 away from the 2,000 mark, I'm now 11 away from the 2,000 mark. So I don't know what it is, but you know the story. Please subscribe, please like, please share, please comment, please be kind, please remember to tell people that you love them. I think this year has taught us that nobody's forever. You know, we've lost a number of people all over the world. So many of my friends have lost people. It's been tough. It's been tough as hell. but we are still here, we are still standing, we are still doing our thing. And I want to say thank you to all my wonderful guests this year that have been on Hart Talks. I want to say thank you to you for watching. I want to say thank you to Gracie and Gus for keeping me sane. And yeah, to next year, if I had a glass I would raise it. I do have a vodka and lime and soda in the fridge, so I might be really outrageous and crack that open for midnight, soon as I'll be sitting here on my own. Oh, I'll have Gracie and Gus. So anyway, everybody, thank you. It's been special and wonderful sharing this insane mental year with you, and I'm grateful that I've had you and had Hart Talks. So mwah, 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 mwah. Big kisses, big love, big hearts, big... That's a really bad heart, Stephen Hart. Is that better? Okay everybody, I'm going. Thank you. Thank you from my heart to yours. You are my Hart Talks family. See you soon. Remember, subscribe, please.